Welcome to the Know It's Some podcast, bringing you the widest variety of conversational interviews for a well-rounded perspective on life. Because while it's true, nobody likes a know-it-all, it's also good to know it's some. Here's your host, Steve Platt.
That's right, I'm Steve Platt, and you're listening to another episode of the Know It's Some podcast here on the Big 3 Roll-Up Network. Folks, I hope you had a wonderful 4th of July weekend. We have the Olympics coming up later this month, and I thought we'd keep with the patriotic theme, rooting on Team USA, and what's more American than baseball? Traditionally, America's favorite pastime. Baseball is back in the Olympics after a little bit of a hiatus. It has not been an Olympic sport since 2008 in Beijing, but we are back. Japan's the host country. They open up play on July 27th against the Dominican Republic. Team USA opens play on July 30th against South Korea, and you can consider South Korea the defending champs. They took home the gold in the 2008 Olympic Games in Beijing, China, and today's guest happens to be a member of Team USA Baseball. He truly embodies what it means to be an athlete and competitor, having already won an Olympic medal in speed skating in the 2014 Winter Olympics in Sochi. Professional baseball player Eddy Alvarez is on his way to Tokyo with Team USA Baseball. He's determined to become just the third American and only the sixth citizen of this planet Earth to ever medal in both winter and summer Olympic sports. Breaking records and writing history with his every move, Eddy took some time to sit down with us here at Know It's Some Podcast, and I couldn't be more excited to share this interview with you. Please welcome my good friend, Eddy Alvarez. Hey, Eddy, how you doing? Welcome to the Know It's Some podcast.
Steve Platt, what's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Not much. So, where are you at right now? You're in Jupiter?
Yeah, I'm in Jupiter doing a little rehab. Had tweaked my wrist in AAA.
Got you.
So we're just getting healthy, getting ready, man.
Nice. So, first off, congratulations, because you are now again an Olympian.
Yes.
For the second time, heading over there to Tokyo. For the listeners that are not aware, and I know you're not a bragging man, so I'll do it for you.
Thank you.
You are already an Olympic medalist. You have already been to the Olympics, but to the Winter Olympics for speed skating, correct?
Correct.
And that was in Sochi. And then now you're with Team USA Baseball, about to head over there for your second Olympics. Does this bring back memories? What kind of memories flood back when you think back to 2014, being on the team again?
Man, to be honest, I really thought once I ended my skating career that, I would never, ever get to experience, the Olympic movement again. And, it's funny because it was a running joke between me and my family. It was like, hey, what if I went to the Olympics for baseball now? Haha. And, dude, it's unbelievable how the stars aligned. And, I'm going to be going for a second time. And it no joke, feels like I'm a little kid again. I had such an amazing experience my first go around, but I do feel like there's some unfinished business, man. I feel like there's a certain color that I want to go for.
Oh yeah. We want that gold for you. We really want it for you, and you have a lot of people behind you cheering you on. But with baseball, it's unique because they had been an Olympic sport for 5 straight summer games, and then they kind of got removed. There was this hiatus, and now baseball's back, which means you're the only guy on the team that has any Olympic experience. Is that right?
Yeah, and it came with a cost of wearing tights, but it's it was awesome, man. When I got invited to play in the qualifier down here in South Florida, really, because I'm not too far from when we played our qualifier.
Mm-hmm.
We did a bunch of introductions, and I got introduced as the Olympian, and currently playing with the Marlins, so and so, whatnot, and I kind of got to share my story a little bit, and there was a bunch of questions that were asked, and I'm just kind of the inside man. I've already gotten a few people texting me like, what do I pack? What do I take? What do I expect? But it's been unbelievable. And yeah, I mean, just the fact that uh, I'm going back to the Olympics in a different sport is, I mean, it's something that I never imagined.
Well,
Honestly, I
well, I mean, you're the only. So here's the deal, and you already know this, but this is more for the listeners who are unaware. If you, not if, I'll say it this way: when you medal,
when I
when you
sorry.
medal, you'll be the third American ever, only the third American ever to medal in both a summer and a winter Olympic sport. The first of which was Eddie Egan. So you're actually going to be the second Eddie.
Oh, so
The
all
first
right.
was Eddie Egan. He had a gold medal in 1920 in boxing, and then in 1932 in the four-man bobsled. And then the second was Lauren
Lauren
Williams.
Williams, who I went to so with,
Yep, she was a bobsled, right? I think.
right? She went to one gold in 2006, right? If I'm not mistaken.
What I got here, and again, I don't know
2008
that I have it
Beijing.
all right, but in 2004 she had a silver medal in 100-meter track, and then in 2012 she was a part of the 400-meter relay team, which won gold, but she didn't run in the finals, but she was still a part of that team.
Still get a medal, man. You still
Yep,
contributed. That counts.
absolutely, absolutely, and she's an incredible athlete. So did you get to meet her when you guys went over there to Sochi?
Oh, that was one of the first people that I messaged. We still keep in contact. It's
Oh,
funny.
that's awesome.
Me and Lauren have a little history. When had I had torn both patella tendons before
Mm-hmm.
that my Sochi Olympics in 2012. So I had to get surgery in 2012.
Okay.
And when I was doing rehab, Lauren was doing rehab as well down in Miami, and we got to hang out and talk about like our sports and this and that. And I didn't realize how elite of an athlete she really was,
Oh yeah.
because how amazing of a human being she is.
Wow.
She kind of caught me by surprise when I see her on an Olympic podium, just like with that contagious smile that she has. And we
Mm-hmm.
still talk today, and it's really cool to be you know be
That
a part of this exclusive club, if that just so happens, because I really do consider these athletes some of the best athletes that has ever walked this planet.
it's elite company. You guys will be the only two in the modern era, and like the only two human beings to have ever done something like that for America. And then about, of course, because I'm sure it's come up in hundreds of interviews that you've done, but the relationship you have with Jim Thorpe, who is a legend, right?
Right.
And he was. And let's see if I could say this correctly. I know you have the terminology down probably, but
No, I don't actually. I'm still kind of confused with that terminology. Was he an Olympic skater? Did he play in
well,
the big league? I don't really know.
so Jim Thorpe was an Olympian in, I believe, the decathlon and one other sport that I'm gonna butcher if I try. But this was over 100 years ago, and the reason why he's important is because he was the only non-baseball Olympian to play in the MLB until Eddy Alvarez.
There we
Um,
go.
you're breaking records left and right, and setting history with every move that you make. How did this happen? I gotta know which came first, baseball or skating. Could you walk me through? I know you probably have been asked 1,000 times, but can you walk me through, how you got into skating first off? How that came about.
Yeah. Well, to touch on your first question, man, honestly, like, Steve, to be honest, like, I don't know. I don't think my journey will really hit me until I hang up being an athlete, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's one of those things that I've just worked so hard, to be the best athlete and the best person that I can be. And, it just so happens that I get presented these opportunities that I'm absolutely prepared for. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
People see the results, but they don't see all
they
the
don't,
hard
right.
work, the pain and sweat that goes into it.
Yeah, then they don't see the behind the curtain, and especially being an Olympic athlete where, we're behind that curtain for 3.5 years, and then here comes the Olympics, and boom, we're on top of the world stage. And they don't know that, we most athletes are training, more than 10-hour, 10 hours a day for 6 days
Yeah.
a week, 11 months of the year. Like this is short track speed skating was one of those sports that was so sport specific and unorthodox that we had to train like you would not believe, and the amount of cross training that went into it because of the fact that it was an endurance based sport. Uh, but they only see us for 40 seconds.
Well, so
On
on that
TV.
note, them only seeing you, that one blip, right, after years of hard work, is there ever a moment where, because I've talked to some Olympic athletes where they're like, okay, I nailed this one jump, they're a figure skater, I nailed this one jump a gazillion times in practice, and then when the moment came, something went wrong, and I've done it a million times before, but I couldn't land that jump, or I couldn't do
Oh,
that
I can
thing.
relate.
Have you
100%.
had any moments like that where you're like,
Oh,
man, I
I
know I
I
could have
had
done it?
I had the moment at the Olympics. I was one of the athletes to qualify for every event in short track speed skating,
Wow.
and I raced every event, and I butchered my individual events. My first event was the 1500 meters. Made it to the semifinals. Um, Made a really bad decision. I put myself in a bad spot, and I got desperate and threw a bad slide.
Mm.
Um, in the 1,000 meter, I was in the quarterfinals, and uh, luck was not on my side, and I got taken out by a Canadian skater, and I wasn't in qualifying position to advance. So,
Mm.
that event ended, and then my final individual event, I fell in the first round, and I had to bring it together for the team event, and like I can relate to these athletes because it's one of those stages that you work your entire life for this moment, and when it gets there, sometimes it's like you lose sensation of of like you lose your ability, your best ability, and you just kind of the speed of the game catches up to you, and
do you
you
get the
make
feeling that
mistakes.
if you were able to have put forth your best performance, like a performance that you have been able to do, and that you've already completed, like, maybe before the Olympics, right? Do you have the feeling that you would have taken the gold, for instance? Or
So this is the thing, and it's hard to say. I was physically very capable of winning a medal at the Olympics individually. The
right.
problem is that short track speed skating is probably one of the most unpredictable sports in the history of sports. So, I mean, I don't know if race in 2000, I think it was 2002, when Apollo Ono was about to win the 1,000 meter, and this Korean kid fell and
Yep.
took out the entire pack, and this guy that was like half a lap behind came and won a gold medal.
Yeah.
That's the type of sport short track speed skating is. So it's really
Anything can happen.
difficult to say, right? But going into the Olympics, like I didn't have a whole lot of experience because of the fact that I was juggling two sports and throughout my
Right.
throughout my career, and but I still had some individual medals and some team event medals going into the Olympics, and I was, I could easily say I was very capable of winning a medal.
Absolutely. And it sometimes does come down to like that race in particular with Apollo Ono. It sometimes does come down to just bad luck sometimes.
Yep. Yep.
But the fact that you are an Olympic medalist at all, or that you even represented your country in the Olympics, puts you in rare company. And now you guys have the opportunity to go there and medal again. I know the goal is gold. How does it feel? What's the feel among the teammates? I know that some of you guys had never played together before, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
This was a team that was so. I mean, I got my phone call for the qualifiers just a few weeks before the actual qualifier.
wow.
And I know some guys didn't get a call until a few days before our little mini camp that we had in Vero Beach.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, this is the reason why we get together. This is the reason why we have a camp. MLB gave us restrictions,
Mm-hmm.
and Team USA did the best they could to put a squad, a competitive squad at given the circumstances, because I had the chance to go up to the big leagues,
Yep.
and if that happens, I would have been ineligible, and I wouldn't be able to play for Team USA nor go
Gotcha.
to the Olympics.
Got you. Now this Olympics is a little different. Obviously, 7 years later, we are now in a strange environment because of the pandemic. We were obviously postponed a year here.
Right.
Is there a different vibe because of that? Are there certain things regarding travel and protocol that you are aware of that are going to make the experience there a little different than it was for you in Sochi?
Yeah, so from my understanding, things will be held a little differently. Japan, the way Japan's running things is extremely strict, and they've kind of given us an insight a little bit of what the athlete village is going to be like, what the cafeteria is going to be like, the rec center, what travel to venues are going to be like. So it's going to be um,
Not as much of a party.
it's not going to be not much of a celebration. I'll say that.
That's a shame.
I know, but it's still an unbelievable trip to be a part of,
Absolutely.
no matter what.
Absolutely.
I mean,
With the
you know,
restrictions, are you going to be able to have family attend, or are
yeah,
you
no, so
going solo this
no
time?
family, no family whatsoever.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had to try and get a passport for my son who's 10 months,
Gotcha.
and that's a just in case situation. So
Got you.
uh, I'm gonna be there alone, man. But my family has been so supportive. My wife has been so supportive. Um, I definitely wouldn't be in this position that I am in right now without them.
That's phenomenal. And, they're got to be incredibly proud of you. I know that your kids are going to be able to look back and see what their father was able to accomplish. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
I
Um,
sure hope so.
Absolutely. One of your teammates, a mutual friend of ours, mutual alumni, John Jay, he seems to be getting into skateboards and a few other things. So please stay away from the skateboards. Uh,
Oh man, I will. I will.
um,
Actually, I'm gonna be taking my inline speed skates out to Tokyo.
wow, that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I'm gonna use them as a form of travel. In the last Olympics, if I knew what it was gonna be like, in the last Olympics we had to rent um, bikes. Team USA provided the athletes with bikes that you can sign in and out.
Okay,
So because the venues and the villages and the cafeteria, everything was, even though it's like somewhat together, it was still a little ways to walk. So we rode bike everywhere we went. If I knew that we were going to do that, I would have taken my skates. It would have made it a lot easier for me.
got you. Well, you you're gonna have the opportunity to do it this time. It should be, regardless of the pandemic, it should be an incredible experience. It's the first baseball Olympic Games without Cuba,
I
um,
know, I know.
and
Yeah.
so you are representing them as well a little bit, representing the Cuban people and the
100%.
people of Miami.
I'm very, I'm very, very proud of my heritage, man. At the Olympics in 2014, um, I had customized my skates and I put the Cuban flag on them, and it kind of felt like having the flags on my feet were like a symbol of my roots and where I came from, and that's something that I won't ever forget, nor I will ever be ashamed of, because I'm so proud to wear the red, white, and blue because this is a country that gave many families that come from Miami
Absolutely,
an opportunity, and my opportunity to be an Olympian one time, but or not just one time, but two times. It's all for them. So anything I can do to show how proud I am to be a Cuban American, to represent the United States, man, I'm going to take full advantage
for
of that.
sure, for sure. Por seguro, patria y vida, and all
Yes,
that good
always.
stuff, my friend. I
Amen.
I gotta tell you, uh, having gone to the same high school as you, and seeing what the alumni from that high school, including yourself, including John Jay, have done, is really inspiring to me. And I wish you guys the very best. It's great to have both of you on Team USA, and we will be rooting for you. And then when you guys get back, I'm gonna have to have John on here to give me a recap
Oh,
of
of course. No,
how
man.
things went.
As soon as I'm sorry it took me a while to reply, but as soon as I saw Adelante, when you signed off, I was like, man, I gotta get this guy a holler.
Absolutely.
We gotta
It's
get
a
on it, bro.
it's a special bond.
Brotherhood is so tight. Our brotherhood is so tight. It's incredible, man. Because I've experienced it where I meet someone that's graduated in I don't know what year, and instantly when you say Columbus, it's like, wow, we can bond. Let's talk.
Absolutely. Have you hooked up with my last guest was Marcus Rivero, Souls by Sir. Has he
Yes.
done any work for you?
So he's in the process of creating some cleats for me. So
Awesome.
I told him he's got freedom to do what he wants. So I mean, I've seen his work, so I highly doubt he's gonna disappoint. But he better not disappoint.
No, he's phenomenal. You're gonna love it. Sincerely. Hey, I just want to say thanks. If you ever want to come back on and promote anything, feel free to do so. But where can people find you on social media?
So my Instagram handle is Eddy Alvarez 90, Eddy with a Y, and that is the same Twitter handle as well, Eddy Alvarez 90.
Phenomenal, man. Well, when this episode drops, I'll send you the link, and I just gotta say, we're all behind you. Go over there, kick some butt, and bring home some medals. Okay.
I appreciate it, Steve, man. Thanks for having me on today, brother.
All right. Thanks.
And that'll do it for another episode of the Know It Some podcast. Our thanks again to this week's guest, Eddy Alvarez. We appreciate your time as you prepare to head over to Tokyo with Team USA Baseball. We are cheering you on, and we know you'll bring home that gold medal for Team USA. And folks, if you haven't done so already, please head on over and follow or subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast platform. And also head on over to your favorite social media platform and follow us. We are at Know It Some Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, you name it, we're there. That's at Know It Some Pod. And that is one of the best ways to support this show going forward. The best way to support this show going forward is to take a second, head on over to Apple or iTunes, and make sure you give us that 5-star rating. Write a review if you'd like, and I really appreciate all the feedback. You can continue to write in by direct messaging us on any of those social media platforms or by emailing us at knowitsomepod@gmail.com. We appreciate all the feedback and all the support. I'm really excited to continue to bring you these amazing guests week in and week out, and that's due to your support and those 5-star rankings. So thank you once again from all of us here at Know It Some Pod. We'll see you next week.